Thank you very much, Sumana, Mr. Subodh Gupta, Dr. Tanveer Alam, all the participants in this webinar. A very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for taking the time to join us on this extremely important subject this afternoon. As Sumana mentioned, whether you are safe at home or taking precautions in the office, please do stay healthy and well in the days that lie ahead of us. This particular seminar has been organized on packaging sector, potential and the way forward. I would like to specially welcome Mr. Subodh Gupta, Chairman of the Indian Institute of Packaging, who Sumana has just introduced to all of us. Mr. Gupta, it is indeed our pleasure to have you with us at this event. I'm sure all of us are looking forward to hearing your views and insights on the packaging sector, and importantly, the ways to overcome the various challenges that it faces. It's also my pleasure to welcome Dr. Tanveer Alam, Director of the IIP, to today's webinar and to the digital launch of the study. Dr. Alam, your contributions and suggestions in shaping up this research paper have been extremely important. Thank you so much for collaborating with us on this area. Particularly as being at the helm of the country's premier packaging institution, your views on this sector will be very valuable as we go forward. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're aware, as part of its function, Exim Bank is not merely a financial institution. We also bring out a large number of research publications on various industries, countries, macroeconomic issues of relevance to international trade, and so on. This particular webinar today and the underlying study is part of these efforts. We meet today, virtually of course, at a crucial moment. Global growth was in any case weighed down by various factors, and the present COVID-19 pandemic has made the situation even worse. The previous financial year saw many economies around the world struggling due to factors like lower demand, sluggish international trade and investment, and unfortunately, rising protectionism, especially among the larger countries. The forecast for the current fiscal depicts little or no chances of revival for the economies. The pandemic has thrown more challenges. Yesterday and the day before, we saw the numbers for India in the first quarter, and certainly India is no outlier. This is a common trend right around the world. So definitely we face a large number of challenges. The packaging sector, of course, is a derivative sector. Its progress derives on the user industries, and the impact on various sectors of the present situation varies in degree. Some sectors have stood firmly in these testing times, like the pharmaceutical sector, for example, and they provide a ray of hope for the Indian economy. Some other sectors have not been quite so fortunate. Packaging sector, very happily, is one of the positive sectors. Packaging, of course, is of paramount importance and plays a vital role in the international trade of goods, or for that matter, even the domestic trade of goods. Packaging is used across sectors in a wide range of industries: food, drinks, beverages, healthcare, cosmetics, consumer goods, and so on and so forth. In layman terms, packaging refers to all the activities related to designing, evaluating, and producing the container for a product. So it's not only used to protect the underlying product which it contains, but it also helps as a very valuable marketing tool in advertisement of that product, catching the eyeballs of customers out of a vast array of clutter, and so on. The Indian packaging sector is among the industrial sectors witnessing high growth potential, partly due to the presence of packaging in almost every industry segment, and also because of the rapidly changing lifestyle and demography today. Consumerism is growing, urbanization is growing, not only urbanization, spending in rural areas is growing, and all this is providing a huge push to the packaging industry. A particular driver has been the rapidly growing e-commerce market in India, which has paved the way for further growth in packaging. With growing food delivery, business, online grocery, the opportunities for packaging are huge, as packaging is an integral part of these businesses, and these businesses cannot survive without safe, hygienic, and protective packaging. There definitely has been an incline towards packaged and processed foods, especially in the urban areas, which again has forward and backward linkages with the packaging industry. People are looking for convenience in a fast-paced urban lifestyle, and for this, packaged and processed food becomes important. It has become even more important in the recent lockdown, when this was in many ways a lifesaver. The Indian packaging industry is expected to have reached $73 billion by FY20, growing at a CAGR of 18% over the last 5 years. The global packaging industry, of course, is much larger and is expected to reach almost $1 trillion by 2022. Now, this is a huge opportunity. It is also a set of challenges. Some of the challenges are at operational level, for which the industry needs to take steps, and for some challenges, there is a need to get help from the government authorities. As per industry sources, there are challenges associated with technology, availing of credit, both timely and cost, designing, and sometimes the regulations also can be very challenging for the sector. Notwithstanding the challenges, the growth drivers are distinctly defined for the industry, even during the current crisis. So the opportunity is there for the industry to leverage the huge avenues available in various spaces and to emerge as a significant global player in the sector. Strengthening their capabilities in terms of technology, skills, efficiency, and competitiveness will be very crucial going forward. And today, we hope to be discussing with all of you various scenarios in packaging and what lies ahead as the growth prospects for the industry. The Government of India has been taking a number of steps for the betterment of the MSMEs in these difficult times, and MSMEs, interestingly, are a major part of our packaging industry. Schemes like mega food parks to give a push to food processing industries will in turn provide an automatic push to the packaging industry. At Exim Bank, we have time and again underlined our commitment towards the growth of exports from India in quantitative terms, in technology terms, in value terms. While the packaging sector has witnessed significant resilience to the global slowdown, it will be critical to ensure that today's strategies and decisions are adequate for continued growth in the sector, as also for revitalizing the exports from the country. It's my sincere hope that this platform will prove fruitful and provide perspective on this topic to all the participants. We look forward to questions and feedback from all participants for today's session, which will help us to make further improvements. May I now take this opportunity to invite Mr. Subodh Gupta, Chairman of the IIP, to please address the audience and share his views. Thank you very much.
Sumana, thank you, Mr. Raskina. I think you have talked of primarily all the attributes of packaging and the challenging and opportunities. I do not know what you have left for me. So you can excuse me if I, at the end of it, repeat few of the things. But anyway, sir, it is my privilege to have been invited by Exim Bank for this very important webinar. I really appreciate this initiative which Exim Bank has taken to conduct this study on the packaging sector, the opportunities, the challenges, and the way forward. I had a very brief look at the report when I was sent this brief note. And from that, I can only say that this report looks to be very exhaustive, and it also showcases the huge untapped potential we have for the packaging industry in our country. As we are all aware that packaging today has become an integral part of our lives. Almost everything that we consume comes in a package form, right from the toothpaste to the last bottle of pill at night, from where you take a pill or a blister pack, whatever be it. And it is playing such a vital role in adding value to the various sectors of our economy, be it food, pharma, FMCG, and we have seen in the COVID times all the COVID-related products, e-commerce, and everything else. As so you rightly pointed out, packaging also plays a very, very vital role for the growth of the country's export. I have made a small PPT, just from my viewpoint as to talk about what is the importance of packaging and what is the small overview about the packaging globally and in India, which Mr. Raskina did touch upon. Sorry. And at the end, what are the various and towards the end, what are the various opportunities and the challenges and what is the way forward that we have. Just bear with me for a second. Yeah. So, packaging today is omnipresent, and it's become virtually indispensable. And that is why I would like to call packaging as a very essential lifeline of our economy. Especially what we have seen in the current COVID times, that it has proved to be, the packaging has proved to be a lifesaver. Be it our, disinfectants, be it the sanitizers or the mask or PPE, everything came in a package form, and the packaging industry took the challenge by supporting the manufacturers of these goods, and kept on running despite whatever other difficulties and challenges we had. Packaging is of paramount importance to us because it ensures the product safety, it gives the convenience to the end user, delivers the product in the way it is intended to deliver, and also it provides the shelf life to the product. Innovation is the essential component of the packaging. It is the innovation which drives demand. Now, one of the examples which I always talk about is this paperboard. Was one thing which we had never seen till some airlines started shoving in there, and today paperboard in itself has become a great packaging commodity in itself. Also, it is the packaging which creates the product differentiation. One of the examples for this clearly would be the perfumes or the colognes. Now the content is very secondary. What attracts to the person is the kind of the package which has been used by these people. Also, when we look at FMCG products like shampoos and soaps, it's a packaging which actually is a great differentiator. Also, this the packaging is also an enabler and a pull towards the product. Now, we are the one country where possibly these shampoos, biscuits, and namkeens are sold in a very unit packs and a very small packs, which actually created absolutely a new segment of a consumer which were not there, and it went to the people, and it fulfilled their need with people with the kind of economic condition that we have in this country. So in a nutshell, I can only say that packaging drives the growth of business and the economy. Since packaging is omnipresent and it is touching every product, packaging industry is also a big employer in the industry, and it's also then becomes an enabler for the growth of the businesses. Another very important thing about packaging is that organized retail is not possible without the packaged products. We all know it. When we walk into any mall or a shopping area, the packaging is what attracts us to a product. I mean, we may buy a certain brand which we always want to, but today, it's a packaging which also sometimes, encourages us, forces us to try those new products. So much so that even in the case of the online business, whether it is primary or the secondary packaging, it's become absolutely important over there as well. In fact, if I may say, it is the packaging which actually drives the growth in the organized sector, which in terms also drive, the employability, and it helps, create employment. This is a global overview which I would like to present, where the packaging industry globally is valued at $870 billion approximately. Mr. Rasquinha did say that it's about reaching $1 trillion, so I would agree over there. And it's amongst the top 5 or 6 industries in the world, and it is growing at the 3 to 4% per annum level. Whereby Asia Pacific, we have seen it is the third largest, is the market of the packaging, and in Asia Pacific we have seen a growth of 5 to 6% per annum. Now, this is a snapshot of the the packaging market in the world, where America and Europe combined are at 50% of the packaging market or the packaging users, and Asia Pacific is 38%. And this is something that we'll talk in the later slide, which is an opportunity for all of us here in the country. Now, coming to the Indian packaging industry. In India, packaging industry is the 5th largest. And I don't know, Mr. Raskina, you can, excuse my number, but you talked about 72 billion. I had a number of 52 billion. So we'll talk about it maybe separately, but I'm sure your number is more correct. And we have also seen that packaging industry is always growing 2 times that of the GDP. And that's been the case for a number of years. And we expect it to grow at 15 to 18% per annum. And especially now we have seen that in these few months, the COVID times, that, there's absolutely a new category of the packaging has come up to cater to all the products which are now there to stay with us. I mean, these sanitizers or these disinfectants, I think they will now become more of a habit and a lifestyle for us than something which will be forgotten after the COVID times. Now in India, packaging segments are basically divided into rigid and flexibles. Flexibles and rigid are over here are basically representing the plastic part. Flexible still remains the highest share among the packaging and the fastest growing amongst all the other materials. We have then we have printed cartons after this, followed by metal and glass. Now, this is something which is very, very interesting for all of us here to understand the real opportunities what the packaging sector offers to us. In India, we have a per capita consumption of about 10 kg vis-a-vis 45 kg in China and about 109 kgs in US. And this is, something which we all need to work upon and understand the kind of opportunities we still have in this country to grow the businesses. Now in India, 85% of most of the packaging converters and packaging industries are in MSME sectors. And we are pretty well spread in the country, right from north to south to east to west. We have, presence almost everywhere in the country. Now, what are the growth drivers in the packaging in India? Now, one of the major growth drivers of the packaging in India has been the pharma sector. Pharma sector is one which is constantly innovating, and they, spend a lot of money in R&D for, not only for their research on the molecules or the formulation, but that of the packaging as well. Pharma is at the highest end of the quality in the packaging as we see it in India. And pharma, we have seen a lot of new developments, whether it is in the drug delivery systems or it is, simple child resistant caps. So all these things are something which really drive not only the innovation, but I think they help the growth of the industry also. We have also seen that there are a lot of government initiatives which we talked before. We started that IAP has been involved in creating a lot of standards for different packaging materials, be it in the food, be it in traditional goods, handlooms, and various other things. And government initiative is also very important, specifically when we are looking at changing the single-use plastics to more sustainable areas. And third thing is, what is the consumer behavior, the way it is evolving. And especially now, where hygiene, like I said before, is going to be a very important, area where, all of us get impacted, is going to be one area which, will drive innovation, will drive new products in the market. And also, the consumer behavior towards ease of, handling of a packaging materials. And they look for, again, the safety of the product and the extended shelf life. Last and not the least is the sustainability, which has been, again, something very, very important. For many years, different packaging industries, be it, glass, be it plastics, be it metal, everybody has been contributing by devising new designs, new methods. We've been continuously reducing the wall thicknesses, the weight of the products of the packaging material, by innovating either in the materials or the machines or the technologies, thereby doing a bit for reducing the wastages or reducing the usage of the packaging material. However, at the same time, there are also brand owners today who are in different stages of thinking how they can use the recycled materials back into their packaging. So few of the companies I understand have even taken this as a an objective in amongst one of the targets. Now, amongst the packaging end use in the country, we see that food processing and pharmaceutical are almost 70% of the market share of the packaging material and the machinery. And as an example, in the beverage packaging, we see that almost every material is being used over there, right from the plastic, rigid plastics, to the the glass bottles, to metal cans and cartons and all that. And beverage industry has been seeing a growth of almost 12 to 13% per annum. Now, this is the another depiction of packaging segments by materials, where plastic is still having the lion's share of almost 55%, and for the sector, it's almost the flexibles, which again, like I said, is the lion's share of the material. Now, coming to what are the opportunities that we have, for the growth of this industry in our country. As pointed out earlier, even if we, not talk about China for a moment, but for US for a moment, we still have a difference of 10 kg to 45 kg between India and China. And that is a huge gap which we people need to fill and, create a capacities, create technologies, and, be a global supplier or global hub of manufacturing over here. I'm told that in India, we import close to 400 to 500 million USD packagings of different materials, be it plastic, metal, paper, from different parts of the world. And this is another area which is an opportunity for us. Also, most of the packaging machinery, high-end over here, high-end, which would have automations and which would have a better quality of the machines, they are still imported either from the Europe, US, and a lot of machines from China. And this is somewhere I think again, if we focus, we can build this kind of machines in India. Another area is that of the the emerging rural demand. And today we've seen that a lot of the brand owners and packaging companies, they develop certain packagings which are actually focused only for our rural folks. I've talked about COVID, so I leave it there. And of course, with the challenge of a lot of countries and companies who want to de-risk and move out of China, it opens up another window of opportunity there. Now, while we have the opportunities, there are equal number of challenges that we have in the country, because we need to really invest in creating R&D, infrastructures for the new material and for the new package designing all the time. We also need to, like I said before, develop capabilities to manufacture world-class machines here in this country. Yes, education is something that we do at IIP, but we do not still, go to a large number of people. We still have diploma programs whereby we are trying to start now our degree programs very soon at IIP. But this is something that we would like to, expand our footprint on the online education so that we can touch more and more and more number of people here. Also, like I talked about recycling and the sustainability earlier, we have in this country, recycling has been present ever since for many, many years, which has been more in the unorganized sector. You will not normally find any PET bottle on the road. Why? Because the bottles are in demand in the rack, because first choice of a product is to buy a PET bottle and sell it. But having said that, what we need in this country is the organized sector coming and playing a bigger role in recycling. getting the world-class technologies for recycling, and also a mandate coming from the government and from the brand owners for reusing of the post-consumer recycling back into their products. Now, what is the way forward? Of course, Mr. Raskina did touch upon it. What we suffer in the packaging industry, because we are largely an MSME, is the availability of the capital. So we have to arrange and make the capital available easily to the entrepreneurs so that we can increase our manufacturing capacities and come to the level of the capacities which countries like China have built to serve the global markets. And we have to, ensure, increased investments in R&D for both the machine building and for, for finding new materials. Skilling, I talked about that, of course, with the packaging industry, when they have to increase, we definitely need to upskill our, the manpower. And last and not the least, what I spoke about, the recycling, it is something that we all have to get serious. We have to ensure that every kind of packaging which is made in the country is recyclable, and the brand owners, are made responsible to use a certain amount of that packaging back into their products. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, for that setting the tone for today's presentation as well as the launch of the study. Now I would request all the guests and managing director to launch the study and on the click of. And now I would just make a brief presentation on the findings of the study. And we have largely depended on desk research and also interactions with Dr. Alam and some of the industry interactions. And so there will be, and also a lot on the whatever web-based research we could generate. And so there might be some difference in the data, like what we have collated or what we have received. So there might be some difference in what Mr. Gupta has presented or in the study. And so I'm just giving a disclaimer. So I will just go to my presentation. Okay. The presentation will broadly cover the packaging industry and its types, the global scenario, the Indian scenario, challenges, way forward, and strategies. Now, as we know, I'm sure Mr. Gupta and Dr. Alam is already aware. For the audience, we have a packaging industry which have two sides, the supply side and the demand side. And the supply side, we have packaging manufacturing. Can I pull it down? Yes. No. Okay, packaging manufacturing, which are largely is related to the segments, components of packaging materials used. That's the plastic, paper, metal, glass, and wood. These are the 5 major components used in manufacturing. Then we have packaging machinery, which is largely globally is a niche for the developed economy. Then we have packaging services. And in the demand side, we have the end users, which are actually the beneficiary of the packaging industry. Then we have the institutional users, and we have industrial users, which are the primary users, which are food, beverage, petrochemicals, which include the pharmaceuticals, other chemical industries, and others, of course. Now let us see what is the global interest in packaging industry is like. As for the market share among components of packaging industry, 2017, there is a lag of 2 years in the global data always. We can see the packaging manufacturing has the largest share, which is 81%, followed by packaging services, 14%, and packaging machinery is a very niche area, which is constitute only 5%. Now, if we see the market share among the top 4 end user markets of packaging, the food packaging, of course, constitutes the largest share, around 70 to 71%, followed by the cosmetics packaging. That's the largest, another largest, followed by the pharmaceutical packaging, which is another large area, and then cosmetics, and then the luxury goods. Now, going to the types of packaging, there are types of packaging on the basis of packaging. It is classified as primary packaging, secondary packaging, and tertiary packaging. The primary packaging may be defined as a packaging which is of the product which is in direct contact with the products, such as the food products, accessories, and the gadgets. Secondary packaging is that holds the primary packaged products, and tertiary packaging includes the packaging products used for production, for shipping, and transfer of the secondary and primary packed products. And when we go on the basis of methods used for packaging, we have anti-corrosive packaging, which is packaging to prevent corrosions and spoilage by chemical agents or by natural agents. Then we have pharma packaging, which these are the predominant packaging which we are discussing. Then we have a pharma packaging, which is used in the pharmaceuticals. Then we have plastic packaging, and all of these combined, they form the components of rigid packaging. We have flexible packaging, which is a packaged product, a part of packaging whose shape can be readily changed, and these are non-rigid packaging structures. Talking about the global markets, the global packaging market was estimated at $876 billion in 2018, registering a year-on-year growth of 2.9% over 2017 at constant prices. According to the industry sources, the packaging industry is envisaged to cross $1 trillion mark by the first half of 2022. The emerging and the developing economies are expected to contribute the most, which is most growth in the global packaging consumption between 2017 and 2022. Global volume share of different packaging products, if you see, then we can see the flexible plastic, the flexible material packaging has the highest share, which is 27.9%, around 30%. And then followed by the PET bottles, which is also again the plastic commodity, then metals and beverage cans. And you can see the composition, the plastic dominance of plastic in the packaging products are maximum. The share of packaging which comes as flexible packaging, PET bottles, then you have HDPE bottles. So these are all part of the plastic packaging. As far as the regional share of packaging types are concerned, Asia Pacific is of course now leading the road. It constitutes almost 33.4%. The flexible packaging, plastic packaging is dominant in Asia Pacific. And Asia Pacific, as per the units produced, is also the highest with 1405 billion units. Followed by the Eastern Europe, which is 115 billion units. Again, flexible packaging or a flexible plastic packaging is the dominant packaging type. For the Middle East and the Africa, it's 121 billion units, and again, flexible plastic is the dominant type, followed by the HDPE bottles, which is also again plastic packaging. Latin America has 369 billion units production of packaging, and again, flexible packaging, plastic packaging is the dominant type. Now, this graph represents the historic and the forecast of CAGR of the packaging market and market value. The number after the region shows the market value of packaging, which you can see the Asia Pacific is leading the way, and followed by the Latin American countries. Then you come, then the North American countries, then Latin America, and then Eastern European countries. Now, if we see the import and export of packaging materials, then developed and developing markets, we have done a classifying matrix, where again, if you see the plastic packaging, the plastic as a component of packaging is the highest, and it is highest in the developed economies. Also in the developing economies, overall packaging is lesser in the developing economies, which is visible in these two tables. The top importers of packaging materials in globally is US, Germany, France, Mexico, and UK. And the top exporter of packaging materials in globally are China, followed by USA, Germany, France, and Mexico. USA, Germany, France, and Mexico are both largest importer and also largest exporter of packaging materials. Now, global food packaging market. Now, I would say that the current study which we are discussing about largely focus on the food packaging, because primarily because food packaging constitutes the largest area of packaging, and secondly, the scope of study we had to limit it because the scope of study for packaging is very large. So we have focused on the largest segment of packaging, that's the food packaging market, food packaging. Now, if you see the global food packaging market and market share by application, then you can see the Asia Pacific has the 36% of the share of food packaging, and followed by Europe and North America. And among the Asia Pacific or globally per se, China and India are leading the markets in food packaging. And Europe and North America, of course, benefits from the large manufacturer base and flexible packaging. If you see the current trend in the food packaging market, flexible packaging and sustainable packaging are the predominant trends. Talking about food packaging, because of the safety parameters involved with food packaging is a very, very regulated market. And few of the trends, very dominant trends which influence the food packaging market is health awareness and the per capita income are the key drivers. Now, coming to the regulatory framework, safety regulations in food packaging worldwide is a complex system involving a lot of wide range of global authorities, country-specific authorities, multiple laws governing. So it's a complex system of regulation. And the regulations not only just regulate the finished products, but the products used as materials, the technologies used, the designs, the labeling. It's a wide gamut of things that covers the regulatory process. Particularly the focus is on quality, contamination, physical damage, tampering, and pilferage. Of course, there's one of the main components. And the food packaging laws are very stringent and are subject to frequent revisions, modifications, and amendments. So, and also with the dynamism in the food supply chain, just for example, the current pandemic or any disease outbreaks also has a huge implications on the food packaging. This is a broad view of the regulatory framework in the US. We have, in the study, we have a detailed matrix done for countries which are of India's interest in a trade of products. So the packaging regulations required for penetrating those countries are present in the study. Here we give the broad packaging for the largest markets. That's the regulations about the largest market, USA. The USA market is regulated by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. They have clear regulations for FCM, the food contact materials, and which is considered as food additives. They comes under food additives and are regulated under the Food Additive Directive. They also have a concept of GRAS, which is a pre-market approval by the FDA and recognized adequately safe for the years. And also pre-sanctioned substances. These are substances which are used after approval from FDA and USDA for a specific use. Coming to Europe, Europe also is has a very streamlined regulations, but there are national regulations as well as there is a community level regulations in the EU for the food contact material in packaging. It is regulated under the regulation 2023-26 of good manufacturing practice. The regulatory authority is the European Food Safety Authority, and the regulations are, cites the specific migration limit as well as overall migration limit, among others. And these are there are also separate regulations for use of active and intelligent materials in food packaging, which is a very current technology used in food packaging. And also there are specific regulations on recycled plastic materials. Coming to Middle East, Middle East, the regulatory authority is the GCC Standardization Organization. Besides the GCC members, the regulations are also followed by Yemen. And the regulations prioritize and requires materials to be manufactured by the good manufacturing practices. GCC also has a separate regulatory requirements for food packages and plastic food packages. For India, India's regulatory authority is FSI, that is the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. Food packaging materials need to be complied with the Indian standards, Bureau of Indian Standards. Also, FSSI bans use of recycled plastics and in food packaging, newspapers, and any such materials for packaging or wrapping of food articles. Recently, the multiple laws, earlier we used to have multiple laws governing the food safety and packaging products, packaging materials. However, that has been streamlined under the Food Safety and Standards Act in 2006. And now currently we have 3 regulating laws for the food packaging industry, that is the Food Safety and Standards Act, the Legal Metrology Act 2009, and the AGMARC rules. The Food Safety and Standards Packaging Regulations governing the FCM has been recently introduced in 2018. Various general and specific requirements along with prescribed overall and specific migration limit is also stipulated in the regulations. The FSI regulates the chemical composition of aluminium, copper, brass containers, and general requirements of canned products and several other products. A more detailed coverage of the regulatory environment in select strategic countries for India's trade and products have been covered in the study as a matrix. Besides the federal regulatory authorities, there is an increasing dominance of the multinational and large food companies towards food packaging, which largely dominates the global food trade. So similar trends are also predominant in other sectors. So these couple of slides shows the complexity and the number of certifications that is, are required to penetrate the retail chains and the international markets. These are all in addition to the federal regulations. These are in addition to the federal these certifications required by the private labels. Now coming to the Indian packaging industry. The Indian packaging industry is expected to reach $72.6 billion in the current year 2020, growing at a CAGR of 18% between 2016 to 2021. Key user segments are the processed foods, alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, fresh fruits and vegetables, and marine products. So food and food products, cumulatively comprise almost 59% of packaging demand in India. In terms of demand of packaging from end users, as I said, 59% is the demand. In terms of revenue, plastic or polymer packaging has the highest share in the Indian packaging sector, which stands at 64% as of 2017-18, and is expected to remain steady over 2020 and 2021. The revenue share of paper packaging, which was estimated at 18% of total revenue during the year 2017-18, is expected to increase, while that of the share of glass and metal packaging is expected to fall over the same period. As the earlier speakers have already flagged off, the low per capita consumption of packaging in India, it remains low as compared to other countries and is estimated at $55 per person per year for India, whereas the global figure is around $115. In terms of volume, we are again significantly low at 10.5 kg compared to developed countries, of course, Germany and Taiwan with 42 kg, 19 kg respectively. US, we have 109 kg per capita consumption, 65 kg in Europe. China, we have 45 kg, and even in Brazil, a developing economy, we have 32 kg. So we are the lowest per capita consumption as per volume in packaging. The industry is also characterized by low cost of packaging, in some cases to the extent of 40% lower than the cost in many parts of Europe. This, combined with India's resources of skilled labor, makes the Indian packaging industry a very potential sector for investment. Talking about the types of packaging, the flexible, we can say the packaging market is divided into two categories, rigid and flexible packaging. In the recent years, the demand for flexible packaging materials has been increasing faster than the demand for rigid packaging. With 70% flexible plastic has the highest share among the different materials used in packaging. Dominance is mostly attributed to its properties of durability, cheaper option, and the visual appeal. Strong demand for flexible packaging material has been mostly arising from food and beverage industries, personal care, and pharmaceutical industries. According to an estimate, the value of flexible packaging market in India during 2018 was $16.3 billion, growing at a CAGR of 3%, and is expected to reach 19.5 billion during 2024. With 56% share in 2018, the food and beverage sector had the highest share in the rigid plastic packaging market in India, followed by the household segment with 14% of share. Trade in packaging. India is a net exporter of packaging material. Export of packaging material, it was estimated at $843.8, that's 844 million in 2018-19, growing at a CAGR of 13.4% over the period of 2014-15 to 2018-19. With 56% of share in 2018, the export basket of Indian packaging industry comprises mainly of flattened cans, printed sheets and components, crown cork, lug caps, plastic film laminates, craft paper, paperboard, and packaging machinery. Though we are the net exporter, but the share in India's exports in the global export of packaging materials remains low at 1.4%. Imports are estimated at around $340 million in 2018-19, witnessing a year-on-year growth of 12.4% over the value of $300 million, and is growing during the 2014-15 and 2018-19. India's share in global imports of packaging material remains low at less than 1% in 2018. Now, imports of packaging materials mainly are tin plate, coating, and lining compounds. With a share of 19.2% in the total export of packaging materials from India, USA remains the major export destination for the Indian packaging industries, followed by UK, UAE, and Netherlands and Germany. China is the main source of import of packaging materials by India, with a share of 25.5%, followed by USA, Germany, Italy, France, and Japan. Now, we discuss about something about R&D in packaging, because R&D or innovation in packaging is a very important parameter. So when we see the R&D spending, we see R&D spending, this is the table which is on the screen, generally speaks about the 9 companies, packaging companies, which are listed companies. And if you can see the R&D spending to the percentage of sales, it is barring one company, which is the High-Tech Corporation, which is mostly into software packaging or hardware packaging, is just above 1%. Otherwise, if you see the other R&D to sales is less than 1%, which is, if you say on an average, it is 0.36%. So now, if we consider the MSMEs, spending of the MSMEs and the largely of the unorganized sector, then the share of R&D in the sales is much, much lower. If we have also analyzed the trademark file, which is very important for innovation in packaging. You can see that the trademark and design applications filed in India, packaging sector has been increasing. However, in comparison to total application files, the share has been significantly low. During 2017-18, 1.28% out of the total trademarks filed in India were pertaining to the packaging industry. And similarly, a little higher, but and around 8.8% out of the total design applications which were filed in India were pertaining to the packaging industry. Now, we will go to the challenges. Challenges, we have carved out some significant challenges, though challenges are many, but under some significant headings, like the technological challenges. Technological challenges faced by the industry is spread across the entire packaging manufacturing line. Technological challenge are in the broader areas includes optimization of equipment and utilities, food safety and security, supply chain waste reduction, development of seasonal infrastructure, and also advanced automation and control methods. At the much micro level, the challenges to the food packaging industry encompasses areas such as limitations in availability and use of packaging materials, systems for material flow, automation, instrumentation and control schemes, degree of smartness in the sensors, sophistication in the machineries and mechanisms, including application of robotics and inspection methods, printing methods, which is a very major medium of communication with the consumers, then security identification, pilferages and damages, then graphic design and digital workflow, sanitation and sterilization, which is becoming very important post the pandemic and post such disease outbreaks, and factory-wide execution of management strategy, including supply chain management. At the global level, absence of adequate R&D has been also posing challenges for the industry. Health safety of new packaging technologies posing considerable challenge in its development and further implementation. For example, in the case of nanotechnology-based food packaging, the standardization of the nanotechnology particles to be used is also lacks optimization. Now, if we see the bar chart here, it very clearly says what are the kind of top market pressures that is driving the packaging companies to upgrade the packaging line capabilities. Of course, primarily is the reducing cost by reducing wastage has scored the highest, followed by increased focus on operational excellence, operational efficiency. And then we have the, connecting to the control operations, increased focus, building compliance and traceability are the, so the primarily reducing cost and operational efficiency are the prime concerns. Talking about the cost of materials, India is a mix of both organized and medium, large players, as well as large, very small organized, unorganized players. Still, there is a prevalence of advanced technologies among larger players. Otherwise, amongst the medium players, which are dominant by the small players, particularly MSS lacks in automation and technology upgradation, as well as inadequate know-how, skill set for adaptation and implementation and investments as far as technology is concerned. Now, talking about the cost of raw materials, the raw materials cost usually forms a 40 to 50% of the operating cost in the global packaging industry, and is estimated to be 48% for the Indian packaging industry. Now, we have this cost breakup, which shows the material cost is the largest cost, which is almost 66%, followed by the energy cost, which is around 14%, and then the labor cost, which it's a labor-intensive industry, so the 9 to 10% is the labor cost, and then other exigency expenses. The operating and net margins of the packaging firms are also reducing with the increment of this cost of raw materials. According to certain industry sources, the cost for packaging product ranges between 1.4% to 40%. Depending on the product line, average cost of packaging is estimated at $1 for every $11 spent. For food industry, the cost of packaging is estimated to vary from 9 to 10% to up to 30% for frozen foods or highly processed food that has increased specifications. Corrugated packaging is largely impacted by non-availability of kraft paper domestically and are dependent on high dependency on exports affecting cost, and also the volatility in food prices directly affect the cost of plastic packaging industry. Availability of skilled manpower, we can see that in a study in technological gap assessment in the packaging techniques in MSME sector, the availability lack of skilled labor emerged as the single largest constraint for the industry. And here we can see more than 35,000 packaging experts are required currently in the Indian packaging industry, while only 1.5% are produced each year. There are the industry is also plagued by the few trainings and availability of few training centers and certification courses, and also cost associated with the employing of skilled professionals also add to the cost of the the companies. Lack of credit flow, of course, availability of institutional finance has been a major challenge for MSMEs in terms of working capital and also financing needs for innovation and technology upgradation. The total credit flow estimated during 2018 from the bank and the financial institutions lies very low at less than 1% of the total credit flow to all industries. Packaging machinery. Machinery in the packaging sector is constantly evolving, and packaging manufacturers finds it very difficult to keep up with the changing dynamics of the packaging machinery, and also to the related professional know-how and the costs involved in it. Heavy dependency on the imports of machineries in absence of indigenous availability of such advanced machineries has been giving entry to the substandard and used machinery in the developing countries. India is no exception. To prevent such influx, of course, many developing countries have been introducing legislations explicitly prohibiting imports of any kind of second-hand machinery. The challenges are also related to the Indian machine tool sector, which largely lacks in technological competitiveness, comparative disadvantage with respect to product and process technologies, precision measuring and material engineering and process control. Mentioning about that, I would like to mention that the defect rates of final products in India are often 5 to 10 times higher than that of the developed nations such as Japan and USA. In India, the demand of packaging machinery and materials is huge. Predominantly is in the food processing and pharmaceutical sectors. About 45% of packaging machinery demand are in the food processing industry, 25% in pharmaceuticals, 10% in personal products and other industrial segments. Talking about the food safety regulations and certifications, we have already spoken about the complexities involved and the multiplicity of the certification and regulations. And as for the costs are concerned, certifications for the private levels or also to some extent the federal certifications requires the depending upon the size of the units, the scale of operation cost varies from as low as $4,000 to $80,000 per unit. So it's a huge cost. Then and also speaking about the domestic packaging certification infrastructure, I believe in India we are at a very nascent stage, and we are also restricted to certain niche area. Such as the bulk cargo packaging for hazardous products for trade. I think Dr. Alam will throw more light on the certifications and regulations of packaging going forward in the presentation. Packaging design and right packaging. Of course, the packaging design innovations are very important. Given the dynamism of the industry, of different industries, packaging design is increasingly emerging as a significant consumer communication media. And so in India, packaging design innovations in terms of intelligent and smart packaging is considerably low and mostly concentrated to the export product packaging. Even in export product packaging, the focus is mostly on the primary processed products with low packaging innovations in perishables and tertiary processed products. Labeling and information also provided on the packages are often very inadequate and also poorly covered. I would like to mention here that 80% of the packaging cost goes towards meeting consumer convenience and requirements, and the remaining 20% in other aspects of logistics. Environmental concerns have emerged as one of the very important concerns in the packaging industry, particularly the plastic packaging industry. Packaging process has a direct impact on the environment, as in the case of other industries. And however, according to the industry's experts, the relative contribution from packaging to the overall environmental impact is usually small. When we talk about environmental concerns, the globally practiced feature is the implementation of life cycle assessment in packaging manufacturing, which we definitely lack in India, or is very minimally practiced. And then we have an issue in India with segregation of waste, which hinders the recycling of the packaging waste. Contamination risks are higher with commingled collection of variety of items. Suitability of materials for recycling is difficult and often gets compromised because of the inadequate segregation. Biodegradable plastics are often perceived as the possible solution. However, biodegradability of the end products and the composites is often understated, which is globally. And for biodegradable plastics in India, which is in a very lower percentage, biodegradable plastic forms only 1% of about 300 million tons of plastic produced annually in India. Compostable plastics require industrial composting process globally. Only a few are designed for biodegradable backyard compost bins. And there is also challenges regarding the inadequate R&D for degradability of bioalternatives, such as the European Commission has recently recommended a ban on oxo-biodegradable plastics, which eventually was observed that they have a longer biodegradable life than the general plastic. Plastics are the material of choice for the FMCG, so eliminating plastics will be very difficult. Here we produce some figures which we have taken from FICCI. The processing industry is estimated at 22 million tons by volume, the plastic processing industry, which generates around 10,000 tons of plastic waste a day. And the per capita generation is around 6 kilos. And if we are talking about a total ban on plastic and is anticipated a dire impact on the 53,000 crore segment of plastic packaging, and impacting hugely the employment, which employs around 13 lakh people. Also, a study in Germany has estimated that the elimination of plastics in packaging with existing alternatives such as the glass, metal, or paper will result in 9 times more packaging weight, with 4.5 times more energy requirement as needed for packaging materials, as well as the cost of packaging will go up by 3 times. Research and development, as we said, that research and development is very low, and the policy framework, we have a late and inadequate focus on developing packaging as a mainstream subject. Then we have a low spending in overall, even in the public R&D infrastructure and public R&D spending and packaging. There is also inadequacies in building capacities to create internationally competitive technology and consistently grow the machine tool sector. There's also lack of policies encouraging market-driven packaging development. Way forward quickly. The way forward we have, summarized into a few segments, like technological innovations, where we have a wide variety of technologies which India can focus on and can create capability, like sustainable, active and intelligent packaging, smart packaging, because we have a large variety of food products. We are the largest producers of perishables. So we have a wide potential in these kind of developing these kind of advanced packaging technologies. Nanotechnology, antimicrobial, edible coatings, aseptic, and automation and robotics. Some key potential segments which we have identified in our studies are the food packaging, of course, which is going to be a $55 billion market by 2020. And as we know that the organized retailing constitutes a largely constitute the food products and is projected to grow at a CAGR of 10.5% between 2013 to 2023 and reach almost 1 trillion by 2023. So it provides a very huge potential for food packaging and packaging industry. Then we come to the transit and omni-channel and corrugated packaging with the rapid rise in e-commerce, particularly after it was earlier also and now currently after the pandemic, the e-commerce is going to be the trend going forward. So the e-commerce in India is projected to grow at a CAGR of 27% from 2017 to 2026, making it a $200 billion industry by 2026. Now, if you see the transit packaging ability or market in India, which is just 1% of global market. And Indian corrugated box is projected to grow at the $2.5 billion in 2018 and to 8.9 billion to 2023. And in terms of revenue, growing at a CAGR of 22%. So we have huge potential in these segments, particularly with e-commerce and organized retailing coming in. Print packaging is another fastest growing market for India, growing at an average of 12.4% per year between 2016 and 2022. And India is slated to surpass Germany in print packaging and rank 4th with $5.6 billion in revenue, which was expected in 2020. Might be derailed because of the pandemic. Flexible and intermediate bulk container, we are already one of the market leaders in this segment. The world market for FIBC is expected to grow at a CAGR of 5% between 2017 to 2023. China is, of course, one of the leading FIBC manufacturer and FIBC exporter. However, India is sharp at second, but at 17% of its share in export of FIBC packaging. The FIBC packaging is driven mostly by the food and horticulture products as well as chemicals. Here we talk about the packaging films. The packaging films, one of the key raw materials for plastic packaging, is currently estimated at $68 billion, with various plastic films, particularly the BOPET market, the biaxially oriented polyethylene terephthalate market is very high. And India has already, some of the players is already market leaders in the BOPET segment. The global demand for the BOPET film is expected to grow annually at 5 to 7%, and Asia is going to be outgrowing the global growth at 9 to 10% annually. The flexible packaging segment of BOPET films are superior technical properties and underpin structural growth of the Indian BOPET films industry. We can see when we see the thin BOPET demand by region, you can see India has, after China, India has the largest demand, as well as in terms of capacity, after China, India has the largest capacity in BOPET films. Another potential area is the edible film and wrap. Edible film and wrap, which constitute the non-animal film and wrap, which is is expected to grow to $670 or $680 million by 2025, growing at a CAGR of 4.3% from 2018. Seaweed and algae have emerged as a popular raw materials sources in manufacturing of the packaging products. And in India, we have a huge potential for seaweed packaging. About 844 seaweed species are documented from India with 7,500 kilometer stretch of coastline. India has considerable potential in production of seaweed and in venturing into the edible film market. The Central Salt and Marine Chemicals Research Institute is pioneering in this field and is also researching on the applications of seaweed in food. The global edible packaging wrap market, which largely constitute of the animal protein, polysaccharides, lipids, composite films, and surfactants, is projected to grow to $700 million in 2016 to almost $1 billion by 2023, growing at a CAGR of 6.81%. between 2017 to 2023. Quickly to the strategies. The strategies we have summarized in 5 following heads. One is the policy interventions. Here, we would like to suggest that packaging manufacturing and packaging services are 2 most potential segments for the Indian packaging sector, largely because the packaging machinery is mostly dominant by the developed economies, and to come up to that level, India needs a lot of effort. Developing the traditional packaging manufacturing units in the MSME segment with appropriate policies and investments is the need of the time. Encouraging public-private partnerships in establishing the packaging parks closer to the clusters, where to scale up the objectives of MSMEs, it can also enhance the productivity. Then we have to focus on the developing the indigenous technologies in packaging through R&D initiatives and investment policies, and also create an ecosystem for them to integrate in the strategic marketing and promotional channels. We also have to strengthen the national packaging laboratories, public R&D services through a lot of investments and policies, and focus on developing technologies. Here we would like to suggest strengthening of IIP and creating more training and R&D institutions for packaging. Also, very importantly, packaging education can be integrated with the Skill India program, can be included as a part of Skill India program, which will give a much fillip to the packaging industry in terms of skill and manpower. Government may also consider developing goal-oriented entrepreneurship program at engineering and R&D institutes, policies to integrate MSMEs to overall manufacturing, and of course there is a need for a robust waste management and recycling policy with the objective of addressing environmental challenges associated with plastic and paper packaging. Technology development in R&D. Technology development should focus on investing, developing, upgrading, channelizing and accurizing indigenous technologies and integrate them with the marketing and advertising platforms. R&D and technology development should be focused on standardization in the packaging manufacturing sector, and should focus on locally designed equipment suited for the local needs and conditions. Scaling up of Indian machine tools industry in terms of investment in R&D driven technology, enhancing skill sets by manpower, building production capacities, increasing speed and quality of production, and creating testing facilities to support adequately the post sales and upgrading services is also a need. Consolidation among the industry may be emphasized in order to achieve these desired objectives. Technology development in the industry should focus on quality of end product, minimizing defect rates and enhancing cost competitiveness, minimize loss and maximize profit. Technology development in food segment should focus on entire value chain. Creating centers of excellence through mergers and consolidation of institutions working in similar areas of packaging research may aid in R&D, in boosting up the public R&D infrastructure. Optimizing the cost of investments, which is a very important, it has been a very important challenge for the industry. We have suggested working out a cost index for packaging with appropriate weightage may be an alternative for moving forward in the packaging industry towards cost optimization. One of the prominent practices which are followed globally by the global players is working out an index to evaluate the performance of all materials and then determine the cost and rate them. Some other strategies may be pre-packaging and contract packaging arrangements, which may be impactful for the SMEs to address their cost concerns and raw materials concerns, as well as innovation and technology requirements. And consolidation, as we have discussed, consolidation of unorganized players in the packaging sector is very important to address cost competitiveness. Increasing availability of skilled manpower, we have already discussed, and we have focused maybe provisioning the training and capacity building for the on-the-job capacity building can be one of the thoughts for the industry. Strengthening the packaging machinery sector, Indian capital goods industry needs significantly to scale up in terms of investments and R&D and technology and skilled manpower. production capacity, speed and quality production, and testing abilities, supported by adequate postals and upgrading services. Then when we talk about the food safety regulation in packaging and compliance, there is a need to create awareness significantly and capacity build among the producers and especially among the MSMEs and other organized informal sections. Compliance to environmental standards, which is very important, and there is a need to innovate in the field of flexible packaging, as further norms restricting to the use of plastic without finding any suitable alternative is the requirement. Now, increased focus on packaging waste management. We should have a watertight packaging waste management policy for the packaging industry, and with addressing the segregation part, recycling, and also evaluating through the LCA process. And of course, environmental awareness of packaging waste should be part of CSR effort and also an enforcement option for industry as well as the government. Certification and multiplicity and complexities, we are of the view a collaborative approach may be adapted, wherein national R&D institutions seek accreditations from international certification agencies. A single certification program could help in saving time, in turn, could help in timely completion of export orders. And with that, I end my presentation. Now, may I request Dr. Alam to please keep his views on the industry, and I know he is a very knowledgeable person on the sector. I must say, most of the papers which are available on Indian packaging industry, because we have very less data on Indian packaging industry, and most of the papers which we have come across on Indian packaging industry giving substantial information on the industry is by Dr. Alam. So he's a very, very apt person for the industry, for giving you a very wide and more detailed information on the industry. I now welcome Dr. Alam, please.
Thank you, Sumanna. Thank you, Sumanna. It was indeed great pleasure. After the 6 months hard working, this report has come, and every fortnight we used to discuss in this what will be the best way to come out. And today it is the big day, especially for this Exim Bank, and a small contribution from my side, whatever I can give. So this is definitely this is with the milestone, because we have I have gone through this study for the packaging industry, and it shows how the Exim Bank is concerned about the packaging industry. Definitely, no sector will grow without the packaging. It is the fact, and it is timely report has come out. Then there is always scope for the improvement for any reports, and but being a packaging professional and our chairman is there, he must agree is that this will be the milestone study for the packaging industry, especially the MSME sector. However, most of the things are being covered touched by our chairman and this study reports. And initial welcome talk, Mr. David Russ, he has initially briefed about the packaging requirement of the packaging so nicely and simply, and after that our chairman and the requirement of the packaging industry, how the sector challenges there in industrial point of view. My point will be here, what is the role of the packaging? Most of the things are being covered by the panelists. What are the challenges faced by the packaging industry, and what the I will talk only the role of the packaging, Indian Institute of the Packaging, how we are doing, how I pioneered this institute, how it's contributed, and what will in future also contribute. This is the, I will not talk too much. Most of the things are being covered, and just a small brief, but most of the things I will talk in the presentation. So now you can see it is been on screen. Yeah. Indian Institute of Packaging, the growth, what I can say, Indian Institute of Packaging, the growth driver of the packaging industry, that I will brief about that. All you know that Indian Institute of Packaging is a pioneer packaging institute in the country under the administrative control of Department of Commerce and Industry. This institute was established almost 56 years old in the year of 1966 at Mumbai. Our headquarters is Mumbai. This institute, what I would like to say is that self-sustaining institute, recurring our expenditure through the services we provide to the packaging industry. And when we talk about that, this institute is a unique institute. We are earning and based on our recurring services we provide to the industry, whether it is the testing and certification, training and education, R&D, this all the services we provide to the industry, and then we become a self-sustaining institute, and this we are in self-sustaining institute for the last 30 years. When we talk about the recognition of Indian Institute of Packaging, this institute is well recognized internationally. This institute is recognized by World Packaging Organization. We are the founder member of Asian Packaging Federation and other international body. Recently, I'm happy to share that the CSR, one of the leading educational magazine in the country, they declared Indian Institute of Packaging is the top packaging institute in the country. When we talk about the globally, World Packaging Organization has ranked Indian Institute of Packaging is the best, second best institute at internationally after the Michigan State University. This share I would like to share before all of you. Okay, our institute is the well-reputed international institute. And when we talk about the mandate of Indian Institute of Packaging, when this institute was established in the year of 1966 under the Ministry of Commerce, the main objective of this institute to establishment is that to promote the export packaging business. When we talk about any business, including the export, without the packaging, it is not possible. For every activities, business activities, packaging is required to complete. When any process ends completed, the packaging starts to fulfill the products, commodities requirement to reach out the ultimate customer in sound and safe condition. This is the challenge. This is the requirement of the packaging industry. During the beginning, when it was established, Mumbai was the headquarter. Then other centers, now you can see we have 5 other centers: Chennai, Kolkata, Delhi, Hyderabad, and recently 2 years back the IP Ahmedabad was established. Now the requirement to see the importance, few more requirements are coming from the different state governments. Now it is realized the pan-India in different regions there is a requirement, huge requirement of the packaging education and training centers. Therefore, Indian Institute of Packaging, we are very open to establish. Government of India, especially Prime Minister Office, they have sent, they have actually advised to the Indian Institute of Packaging one more center we are going to open in Varanasi, and another center like Bangalore and Kakinada and Andhra Pradesh, and one more requirement is there whether the not to see the requirement of the packaging industry in northern state. Another center is also northeastern region. Government is also requesting to open one center in northeast. So there is, so everywhere now people are talking about the importance of the packaging, and Indian Institute of Packaging role becomes so prominent. Now activities wise, just we have seen the different requirement in the field of the packaging. Similarly, already you have mentioned that there is huge requirement in the country. Training and education is huge requirement. It is reported that more than 35,000 packaging professionals are required at different level. IP, I would like to share that IP to see the visualize the importance of packaging education 35 years old before. We have started 2 years postgraduate diploma in packaging 35 years before. Now our 36th batch of postgraduate diploma is running. The new batch will join 36th batch of the PG diploma. This 2 years postgraduate diploma is one of the unique course in the country. This we are giving the 100% placement. Our alumni is more than 5,000 alumni are working pan-India and international organization in MNCs, different MNCs. This is our asset and pillar. Alumni are the pillar of Indian Institute of Packaging. So each and every segment, whether it's the user industry, whether it's the converting industry, whether it's the exporter, service organization, everywhere now the packaging professionals are working, IP alumni are there. Then another important activity that is neat is the testing and certifications. Our Indian Institute of Packaging, the testing certification, our laboratories are one of the state-of-the-art facility we have created. We are providing more than 350 parameters of testing facility, whether it is the plastic packaging material testing facility related with the paper packaging testing facility, or glass or metal or composite containers. All testing facility, more than 350 parameters testing facility we have created, and many more facility we are creating as per the requirement or as per the international norms of the country. Then research and development is the third important activities where we have to provide, we do the research, more than 300 research study we have done for recent years, whether the food packaging related activities, whether it is related with the standard and specification of different commodities. Then to promote the packaging industry, we also organize national and international exhibition and conferences. Already mentioned as the part of activities, consultancy is very much important. Services we provide to the packaging industry, where we give the on-spot solution to the packaging industry, where we have to we do the consultancy visit to the packaging industry. If any industry, for example, is facing any problem related with the production, whether the damage, whether transit, defect, or they require any new design, the IP is taking as a challenge, and we perform these services to the packaging industry as a consultancy. Now, another activity is that recently we have started, because at national level or international packaging, there was no journal of international packaging related with the research. 3 years back, we have started with the collaboration of a Springer research journal we have started, which is quarterly magazine, and we have also in-house the packaging magazine of Packaging India. So these are what I have just summarized our activities of the Indian Institute of Packaging. Now another, not for regular, this is 2 years postgraduate diploma in packaging. Apart from this, we know there is also requirement for the distance mode of education. We are also running last 16 years postgraduate diploma in through the distance mode of education, 18 months course, which is very much popular course in the country. Everywhere more than 500 to 1,000 students are joining this course, and they are getting the benefits of this course. And of course, we are also running the short training programs. This is very much important. We are running every year in the month of September, October. We are performing 3 months course in the field of certificate program in the packaging we are doing. Not only for the Indian students, we are also organizing residential international training program for the WPO, World Packaging Organization, Asian Packaging Federation, and also we are doing residential training programs for the neighboring countries. So now I would like to share how our role in the field of the training and education, not in India, but for the neighboring countries. We are the one of the resource institute in subcontinent. And it is very much important, because a lot of innovations are doing packaging industry. To promote them, we are also organizing India Star and Pack Machine Awards based on their innovations. These are our regular activities. Every year we used to organize India Star Award, Pack Machine Awards. This actually helps to boost up the innovation in the field of packaging design. This is the entry point. India Star Award, if industry is participating in the India Star Award, the winners of the India Star Award, then they can participate in Asia Star Award, and after that they can go for the World Star Award. So India Institute is the nodal one of the institute in the country to promote packaging design or at the international level. We also participate international packaging exhibition like Interpack. Now, the testing and certification as a part, already I mentioned, our laboratories are BIS approved laboratories. All our laboratories are annual accredited laboratories. And most important in the field of the contribution trade promotion is that Indian Institute of Packaging is authorized by DG Shipping and DGCA as a competent authority for issuing of the UN certification. The background of this UN certification is that more than 147 countries have signed MOU. If there is transition of hazardous goods among these countries, there is mandatory UN certification is there. So therefore, DGCA and DG Shipping has authorized to issue a UN certificate for dangerous goods. So this duty we are doing more than 30 years. And every year we are issuing more than 10,000 to 12,000 certificates for export packaging of dangerous goods. This is the contribution, major contribution when we talk about for the export packaging related to the packaging, export packaging of dangerous goods. Similarly, when we talk about the research and development, our R&D labs is recognized by Department of Science and Technology. And now you are talking about that alternative packaging system by alternative packaging for the single use. We are talking about the biodegradable packaging solution, biodegradable plastic packaging as an alternative for the single use plastics. But the question arises, who will certify it? If any industry has developed a biodegradable polymeric material or packages, who will certify it? To help the industry, for last 2 years, we have established a specialized testing laboratory in the name of a biodegradable testing facility. Only few laboratories in the country is there. They analyze, they have a facility of a biodegradable testing facility. So among them, Indian Institute of Packaging. First, we have started in the Mumbai. Now we have also started in Hyderabad and Delhi. So this is our contribution in the field of the research and development. These are the few contributions what I'm mentioning. And apart from our bigger contribution is that we have developed more than 156 packaging standards and specifications for different commodities for export packaging of fruits and vegetables, sponsored by APIDA. We have also developed marine packaging specification. We are also closely working develop bulk packaging standards for tea board, coffee board, spices board, Ministry of Food Processing. On behalf of Ministry of Food Processing, for last 5 years, we have organized more than 69 packaging awareness training workshop pan India. The result of is that now you can see the traditional food items are packed and available in the mall in good packaging. So this was the impact. We have done a pan India national workshop in this area. So similarly, recently, few examples I would like to share before the participants is that recently we know that we have different types of traditional or indigenous food item in the country. Conventional foods are there. The limitations and drawback of these food items are they are very poor shelf life. They are unhygienic. To keep in mind, we have received the challenge from the West Bengal government because they have one of the very popular product, very common product, Nalen gur, which is very commonly available in eastern part of the country. This is sponsorship is given by the West Bengal government, and we have enhanced the shelf life of product is 5 hours to up to the 92 days by innovative packaging design. And good part of this is that these are available at the outlet marketed by the West Bengal and West Bengal government's different outlets. So this is the recent development, and we also got a patent for this product. Another important contribution in recent time, we know that handicraft and handloom products are another challenging area, which gives a lot of the employment in the country. And export income generation, this handicraft handloom products are giving. Big sector is there. 3 years back, we have received a communication from Ministry of Minority Affairs, where they have given the challenge to the Indian Institute of Packaging whether we can do something in the field of the packaging for the handicraft and handloom. They have identified 40 products, and we have a package developed for the 40 package design and total 120 different types of the packaging we have developed for the country. And out of this 120, we have received a patent of 13 design patent for these products. So what will happen, like once this package will be used by this handicraft, this will help in branding, this will help their value addition, and this will help also help in export, because they are because they are different SKUs, their packaging requirement is different, and we have all of the packaging we have developed to utilize the natural resources and locally indigenous available materials. Based on that, we have developed 40 packaging design, 120 package designs actually. And recently, what we have done during the lockdown period, we have received, even not only for handicraft, we have done food, we have also developed a packaging to brand or marketing for the travel community. We know that various products are available, forest-based products are available. We have taken the challenge, and 5 innovative packaging design, convenient packaging design we have developed for the travel ministry, for the travel people, and it is now being marketed by the Travel Cooperative Marketing Federation of India. So these are the few things. This is a few success story of the recent time in the field of the packaging, what I thought I would like to share, and definitely it will be beneficial for the packaging and user industry. And now you can see the few recent research projects we have completed. From the you can see we have developed a packaging for the fresh kiwi for the North region. We have developed a bulk packaging standard and specification for CTC orthodox tea for the export market. We have also formulated packaging for the pineapple, queen pineapple, sponsored by the Tripura government. Similarly, we have developed a model for the equivalent modified atmosphere packaging for fruits and vegetables. This was sponsored by one of the leading packaging industry of the country. So this will help to enhance and utilize the innovative biodegradable polymeric material, tailor-made packaging, breathable film for the enhancement of the shelf life of fruits and vegetables, because our fruits and vegetables, we have a tropical fruits, we have a temperate fruits, we have a climatic fruits, and each and every different, they require each and every different types of the packaging materials. So we need to have a model so that industry can utilize ready to use technology we have developed. Similarly, not only we are talking about the standard specification, and we already you have mentioned another important area in the country is that development and study of the safety or migration study. Recently, we have concluded the safety study, migration study based on the study of specific migration and overall migration, because you know some of the monomaterials which is leaching out from the different sources of the plastic packaging or other packaging materials is harmful. We have to examine, we have to have some standard and study. Recently, we have done a study, and I would like to share that Indian Institute of the Packaging is the lead institute for, by the FSSAI. We are the leading 10 institute in the country, comprising different ICR institute, IITs, where the IP is taking the lead, especially to study the safety norms, formulation of the more stringent regulation related with the food safety packaging material and food contact materials. And another study we have also done enhances the shelf life of patali gur, another gur which is very highly perishable items we have developed, and we have done a study and we have submitted. And many more study we are doing in different area, especially now we are focusing agri commodities, we are focusing on safety, we are also doing the market survey for the industry. To see this this different study, now we have also planned for the future plan to give the best services to the packaging industry. As already you have mentioned, the panelists, earlier panelists, they have talked about that we need good professional in the field of the packaging. IP has already planned to start professional course, because different level we have, as per the industry requirement, more than 35,000 packaging professionals are required annually, but at different level. We require a person at operation who can work at operator level in the packaging industry. Low skilled manpower we required. Similarly, we required highly skilled manpower. We required professional manpower. To see the requirement of the country, already our chairman and under his leadership, we have already prepared a proposal to start BTech, MTech, and PhD program through the university affiliation, and as well as we are also exploring how we can make our Institute of International Importance, Institute of National Importance. So this is our planning. We hope that once it will be successful, definitely it will give the better contribution at the in the field of the for the countries. Then now after the COVID challenges, after the post-COVID, we required more skilled manpower, and our education ecosystem is now required in different way. We need to formulate online. We are also planned already. We a few of the courses we have started online courses for the upskilling of the manpower to fulfill the packaging requirement for the country. And already I have mentioned in initial talk, okay, we are also to see the different region-wise requirement. Already we have 6 centers, packaging institute. Now we are also expanding our centers to the Varanasi, Leh, Northeast, and Andhra Pradesh region. Now, already it was mentioned by our chairman also, we need to focus on R&D to develop innovative material and machinery in collaboration of R&D institute, academic institutions, and industry collaborations to see the packaging concept of 3S packaging. What I visualize is that safety, security, and sustainability is the need of future requirement of the packaging of the country. We require safe packaging system. We require secured counterfeit packaging, as well as definitely we require sustainable packaging systems. So keeping in mind our focus, research focus should be to develop a packaging machinery and material to fulfill these requirements. And of course, we need to develop active packaging, antivirus packaging after this pandemic challenge, because everybody wants safe packaging, antiseptic, antibacterial packaging. This is the area we need to develop, focus, R&D. Also, this now the future requirement is no touch packaging, minimal touching of the packaging, intelligent packaging, the packaging who can track and trace about the product during whole of supply chain, the packaging who can interact with the customer to say that whether the packaging is safe for use and how much the contamination is there. Such type of the research is required for the country, and accordingly we are planning to enhance the research facility. And of course, to develop a biodegradable film, we are talking about the recycling to need, because the PET material is recycled and reuse it. So then this, which is known as rPET materials. So now we have to have some our indigenous technology as well as standards, so that we can comply. We can make a standard so that rPET can be used in the food application. This is the future packaging. Then of course, after this COVID-19, we required automation, inland solution, aseptic packaging, robotic packaging, packaging 4.0. So we have also upgrade. We are in the process of upgradation of course content to address this all requirement of the packaging. And of course, government already our chairman talked to give some soft loan. Apart from this, because we are involved one of the export packaging certification, we are also recommending to different state governments and central governments, okay, whatever the UN certification industry is taking, the fees they are paying, that should be reimbursed. With these words, again, I thank to the Exim Bank and the whole team, and congratulations for timely study has come out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Alam. That was a good, very deep insight on what IIP has been doing and what are the scopes for IIP to also explore in the near future. Now we have Mostly the one question we have received is to share the presentation, one comment. And so I would like to have know something from Mr. Gupta. You being representing the industry, what is the scale of preparedness or scale of in the level of technology or adaptation in the packaging industry, particularly when we talk about the MSME sector? So if you can throw some light on that.
So I must tell you one thing, that you did name few companies in your presentation, that there are companies which are actually one of the largest companies in the world. Like in flexible packaging, you have UFlex. For the limit tubes, you have SL Propack. They are the world leaders, and they have their units out of the country also, whether in US or in Middle East and South America. So they are catering to the international community. In addition, let me tell you that there's so many, I would say more about plastic, because I'm from plastic field, so don't take me wrong. But there are many companies in plastics which are using the best technologies which are available in the world. People who are into barrier films, flexible films, they have the best technologies from the world. And there are companies like ours which were into pharmaceutical also, they would have the best practices. So not many people do, because I think at the end of the day, what we lack is capital, because we need good capital for getting a good technology. But let me tell you, the industries, the packaging industries are getting there. It's not that we are not aware of the technologies, or we are absolutely out of sync with what's happening around the world. We are there. But what is one major difference, let me tell you, between us and China is the kind of the scale that they have of manufacturing. That is something we need to get there, and that is something which we'll have to do in case we want to become the factory of the world. Right now we are only an office to the world, but with Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat programs, we have to create those huge capacities, and they can be created not because of lack of knowledge or competence, but because of lack of capital availability.
I have a question for Dr. Alam. Since we are discussing on the export strategy and export packaging, because we are looking like our current government focus is to expand exports, and packaging is one of the very important parameters. That's the reason why we have taken up the study. And so what do you think is the level of export packaging happening in the industry level? Because we find very difficult to get some information on the kind of packaging, the scientific packaging, or internationally competitive, international standard packaging are there prevalent. So can you give us some idea on that?
As we have mentioned, so we are the part for the BIS, different standard packaging group sectional committee chairman. Our IIP is representing that. So then we have to strengthen our packaging standard for the country, whether the export packaging as well as standard packaging. For example, Indian Institute of Packaging is authorized UN certification from port to port. What about the domestic market? Because the product is being transferred domestic, we also require dangerous goods is being transmitted from port to the factory. The certificate is not there, so that we need to have some standard for the domestic market. So another benefit, what will happen if we have a packaging standards, so then we can also check the poor quality done by the China. This is the one tool. If we enhance the standards of the packaging and we make mandatory day by day, whether the transport packaging and for the food packaging, what will happen? The China we cannot penetrate because we have stringent regulations. We have to focus in that particular area. Apart from this, also we would like to share what I have mentioned about that. We have to give some incentives. If packaging industry exporters are investing some more money to get the export packaging certification or to enhance the quality certification, that is also taken care of by the government level or That I want to say.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Alam. Now I would request our CGM, Mr. Pralathan, to just give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, everybody. Mr. Subodh Gupta, Chairman, Indian Institute of Packaging, Dr. Tanveer Alam, Director, Indian Institute of Packaging, our Managing Director, Mr. Raskina, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. As we come to the close of today's webinar on the packaging sector, the potential and the way forward, it gives me immense pleasure to propose this vote of thanks. On behalf of Export-Import Bank of India and all the participants, I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Subodh Gupta, Chairman, Indian Institute of Packaging, and Dr. Tanveer Alam, Director, IIP, for not only assenting to be part of this webinar and also for delivering such an insightful address. Given the ample amount of experience of both of you in the field of packaging, your experience insights will be providing a wider perspective on various issues related to the packaging sector. We at Exim Bank are highly obliged and encouraged with your presence and also with your address today. I would also like to take this opportunity to extend our sincere thanks to the audience from various fields, including the industry, press and other representatives, for being a part of this webinar and sharing thoughtful questions. Your participation gives us encouragement to conduct such interactive webinars. Last but not the least, I would like to express my appreciation for the Exim Bank team for their hard work in putting this event together. We sincerely hope that this webinar has provided some useful insights to the knowledge-seeking minds and also has provided food for thought to all the stakeholders. I would like to make one announcement. We are having a webinar on being a self-reliant in India, which are the sectors we need to focus and which are the strategies we need to adopt in order to achieve the Atmanirbhar Bharat. We have done a study and this will be launched on 16th of September. I request all the audience to join this webinar through the registration process. Once again, I thank all the participants for your participation in today's webinar. Thank you very much.